Hello and welcome back to another video on the Football Zone and to a weekend reviewing Premier League and Championship action from this weekend. Let's get straight into it with a bit of a dull draw on Saturday lunchtime. Liverpool 0, Chelsea 0. And yeah, in this game there wasn't too much to report in all honesty. Two sides not having their best season, having not their best game, I think it's fair to say. A draw, I would say, is a fair result. Modric made a decent impact when he came on, to be fair. But yeah, in the end it just represents two teams not having an ideal season. This one, a bit of a draw to start off. But moving on then to West Ham 2, Everton 0. Jarrod Bowen with 2 goals here, celebrating a nice way after, of course, the announcement he's going to be a dad, which is nice. But anyway, West Ham, more importantly in the football, dominating this game. And fairly deserving of the win. And it has marked the end of Frank Lampard's time as Everton manager. Obviously, huge win for West Ham. Gets them out of relegation trouble, you'd say, for a bit. But yeah, Lampard, for me, kind of had to go. I'm questioning his managerial ability, to be honest. But Everton have to get the next appointment right. It's absolutely crucial. Or they'll be in the Championship next season. Simple as that. But anyway, moving on to another team that's in desperate danger of being in the Championship this season. Southampton, who were defeated 1-0 at home by Aston Villa. Ward-Prowse did have a goal disallowed in the 64th minute, I think harshly. And Ollie Watkins in the 77th minute made them pay for it. And you'd have to say on the whole it was a result that Aston Villa deserved. They deserved the 3 points. Big win for them. They keep their momentum under Unai Emery in the Premier League game. But for Southampton, yeah, this was a really disappointing result for them. You kind of have to say it. But moving on into Leicester 2, Brighton 2 at the King Power. Mitoma in the 27th minute giving Brighton a lead before Brighton and Barnes giving Leicester a 2-0 lead, but 2 minutes from time Ferguson made it 2-2. And yeah, it's a game that on the whole I'd say maybe Brighton, if anything, were unhappy not to get the win, but of course Leicester only being 2 minutes from time and having such a poor record really since the World Cup would have desperately wanted that win. So I think it's a game where both teams maybe won't walk away too happy with the results, to be honest. But moving on then to Bournemouth 1, Forest 1 at the Vitality. And Yates had a goal disallowed in the 13th minute for Forest, and Anthony in the 28th minute gave Bournemouth the lead before Sam Surridge 7 minutes from time sealed a point for Forest. And it's a game where I'd say a draw probably the fair result. Bournemouth will be disappointed not to get the win here after leading for so long. It's a win that they desperately need as well, of course. And Forest, maybe they'll be slightly disappointed not to go to a team in such a poor form and get the win as well. But moving on then to Palace 0, Newcastle 0. And a game that Newcastle dominated, but in the end couldn't find a breakthrough, much to their disappointment. But it's another clean sheet for them. They keep their remarkable defensive record going. But yeah, for Palace, another solid home draw against the top side. 2 points from Newcastle and Man United. So I think they definitely would have taken that. So yeah, credit to them. But I think Newcastle probably will be the side that leaves here slightly more disappointing, having not found the breakthrough. But moving on then to Man City 3, Wolves 0 at the Etihad. Haaland with a hat-trick here in the 40th minute, the 50th minute and the 54th minute. So a 14-minute hat-trick. Pretty incredible. It's a game that City dominated. Wolves Lopetegui, not their best performance here, I think it's fair to say. Always going to be a bit of a free hit, but for City, after a few disappointing results and even questions over Erling Haaland, it's a big win for them to get back on track, and that's exactly what they did here. I think it's pretty safe to say. So yeah, like I said, they'll be absolutely delighted with that. Moving on then to Leeds 0, Brentford 0 at Ellen Road. Lots of 0-0s in the Premier League this week. This is a game, not their best game, to be honest, Brentford. A game that Leeds, if anything, feel like they could have won. And it'd be frustrating for Jesse Marsch. He may see it based off how the game went. As 2 points lost, which will be frustrating for him, I think. But yeah, there we go. These things happen. But Brentford, even when they're not playing well, picking up a draw away at a team like Leeds is a solid result in 8th and shows how far they come. But Leeds still are in relegation danger in 15th place. Moving on then to the big game of the weekend, Arsenal 3, Manchester United 2. What a game this was. Rashford with a beautiful goal in the 17th minute gave United a lead before, and Nketiah in the 24th minute, Saka in the 53rd minute with a lovely goal gave Arsenal the lead in the 53rd minute. Lisandro Martinez equalised in the 59th minute, but to wait on, Eddie Nketiah gave Arsenal the win, and United will be gutted, but you have to say on reflection of the game, it wasn't a zero win for Arsenal. They were pressuring in the end, and you always felt like they were going to get there, and it just showed how impressive Mikel Arteta's team have been. For United, it kind of showed they were on the wrong way to go, and would be gutted for them not to hold on to a point right at their death there. But for Arsenal, what a great win, and they're just not faltering at all, are they? So impressive for Mikel Arteta's men. Finally in the Premier League on Monday night, Fulham 0, Spurs 1 was the score at the Craven Cottage. And yeah, Harry Kane with the only goal of the game in first half stoppage time. Beautiful strike as well. A game with not much between the two. I think Fulham will be disappointed not to come away with a point. But Spurs, a good win for them and a much needed win for them, with questions being asked. Reduces the gap to Manchester United and Newcastle just 3 points, but they have played a game more. But big win for them. Like I say, Fulham will be frustrated, but it's still not going to take away from the great season they're having. But yeah, on the whole, frustrating night for them. But anyway, moving on into the Championship action, and starting off on Friday, where we had the two kind of runaway leaders in action. Starting off with Sheffield United, and they secured a 1-0 win over 10-man Hull. Daniel Jefferson with the goal early on in the 4th minute. The red card for Teta didn't come until the 84th minute, and by that point Sheffield United were already in control, obviously. And yeah, it's a game that on the whole they deserved to win. They were the better side here, holding well to hang in there. Billion couldn't find the equaliser, and it was obviously made tough with that right at the end. But for Sheffield United, they keep on marching on. Moving on into this incredible Burnley side, they took on West Brom, and for the large proportion of this game they were behind, falling behind in the 7th minute through Furlong. But goals in the 75th minute from Teller and the 87th minute, a beautiful free kick by Twine, gave Burnley yet another win. And yeah, a dominant performance from Burnley in the end. I think they would have felt aggrieved if they didn't come away with the 3 points. And yeah, 62 points from 28 games, just an absolutely incredible season they're having. And they could even be on for the points record at the moment, they're going that well. But for West Brom, this will be a tough result to take off leading for so long. But moving on then to Coventry as they take on Norwich on the Saturday lunchtime game. It finished 4-2 to Norwich. Bit of a crazy game this one. Norwich were 3-0 within 18 minutes, but by the 26th minute it was 3-2, and Dow in the 65th minute gave Norwich the win. And it's a game that I would say Norwich deserved to win. Yeah, they were the better side here. Really fancy good stuff under the new manager, and hopefully he's had a positive impact. It certainly seems like it's early days, but yeah, still Coventry were outclassed here, I think it's fair to say. But moving on into QPR, and yeah, they secured a 1-1 draw with Swansea at Loftus Road. Jamal Lowe in the 27th minute and Jay Fulton in the 81st minute equalising for Swansea. It's a game that QPR I think will be frustrated not to win, especially having led for so long. But yeah, good point on the road for Swansea. But for these two teams, it's just about really getting a run of form, and I think that's what's really preventing them from getting in the playoffs mix. QPR drawing a lot at the moment, and Swansea just so inconsistent really. But moving on then to Cardiff 0, Millwall 1 at the Cardiff City Stadium. Tom Bradshaw with the only goal of the game in the 26th minute, and a game that Cardiff, I think towards the end they were pushing a lot, but Millwall held firm, really good away win for them, even though Cardiff just aren't a great side this season, but they're right in playoff contention. But Cardiff 3 points above the relegation zone. Huddersfield have 2 games in hand on them now. Blackpool 1 game in hand on them, both 3 points behind them. Pressure's really growing. They need to get the right point right because they're in a bad spot at the moment. But moving on then to Luton as they secured an impressive 2-0 away win at Wigan. And Cornick and Adebayo with goals either side of half time for the win. And Luton, better side here, deserved the win. Only had 2 shots on goal, but they were clinical. And I think it's maybe time that Wigan have to admit that the Cole Toure experiment has gone horrifically wrong, and if they want to have any chance of survival 4 points behind Cardiff, then surely they're going to have to act at some point too, because at the moment it's just not working, is it? But moving on then to Watford 1, Rotherham 1 at Vicarage Road, and what great result on the road this was for Rotherham. But Ferguson gave them the lead in the 20th minute, and Ferreira equalised in the 53rd minute. But fair play to Rotherham. They hung in this game. They were just as good for their point, just as deserving. Great win for them. Watford safe there, but I think they'll see it as a 2-point drop. But for Watford, who have been struggling so much recently, this was a great result for them, and it's giving themselves slightly a bit of a cushion between themselves and the relegation zone, which is obviously big for them. But moving on into the Bet365 Stadium, did not see this result coming. Stoke 4, Reading 0. Will Smallbone, Tyrese Campbell, Josh Brown and Dwight Gale with the goals. What a result this was for Stoke. They absolutely dominated the game. They were better than Reading and fully deserved the win, and hopefully this is a turning point that they need to get away from relegation trouble and kind of move themselves into mid-table. But for Reading, this was really poor. I didn't really see this performance coming from them. They seem to be a bit more tighter, but clearly not. And Paul Ince needs to get back on track. But moving on then to Bristol City 1, Blackburn 1 at Ashton Gate, and Bradley Dack gave Blackburn the lead in the 54th minute before Semenyo in the 68th equalised for Bristol City. Ayala in the 74th minute gave Blackburn a red card, and that kind of ended their hopes. When it Bristol City pressed forward, but in the end couldn't find one. It's a draw for Blackburn. Maybe they'll free 2 points drop. Bristol City, maybe they will as well with the red card towards the end. Skill which I think both teams may be relatively content with, but at the same time feel like they could have won it given the circumstances. But moving on then to St Andrews, where Birmingham were defeated 2-1 by Preston. Ledson and Brown in the 10th and 15th minute gave Preston an early 2-0 goal lead, but Juktovic in the 83rd minute pulled one back for Birmingham, and they tried their best at the end, hoofing it forward, but in the end it wasn't enough, and Birmingham's forward now just 6 points off the relegation zone is really quite concerning. It does look like they're getting dragged into a relegation scrap, but Preston, a good win for them. It's just like we keep on saying about them, they need to find some consistency if they really want to properly push to the playoffs. But moving on then to Sunderland 2, Middlesbrough 0 at the Stadium of Light. Fry was sent off in the 49th minute, which kind of turned the game on its head, and that allowed Stewart to tap him from a missed penalty in the 51st minute, and Diallo, the Manchester United loanee, in the 80th minute, giving Sunderland the win. And yes, the red card kind of changed the game for them here, and it's exactly what Sunderland deserve. They're absolutely flying along at the moment. For Carrick, a bit of a setback, but he still had a great impact since he took over there. But anyway guys, that's it for you. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, no thoughts, comments, and follow the show for daily football news, and subscribe to our channel, we greatly appreciate it. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.